Hi again, it's Allison, stlprostretch.com, and today we're going to be doing some upper body stretches. This is kind of a random assortment of stretches. You can take or leave what you like and what you don't like. I'm just going to focus on some problem areas for a lot of people when it comes to upper body. So we're going to start out with push-up. I know this seems like more of a strength exercise, but every strength exercise involves a concentric and an eccentric contraction. The concentric would be the shortening phase, and the eccentric would be the lengthening phase, which is the eccentric contraction, while it's the muscles lengthening, is a resistance stretch. So any strength exercise, technically, barring isometrics, could be considered, as long as you're dealing with a force, and movement and getting longer while it's under that force, could be a resistance stretch. So the push-up, I'm going to do mine on some blocks. You don't have to use blocks. You could use a wall. I like to do this one pretty wide, so I'm actually going to take my blocks out pretty far, and I'm going to line myself into a kneeling plank. So as straight as I can be from my knees to my shoulders, I've got my abdominals pulled in so that I can maintain that neutral spine. I'm going to pull my thumbs towards each other. So that's going to activate my pec muscle, right? When you pull your thumbs towards each other, pec major activates. So I'm pulling my thumbs towards each other, and as I come down, I'm going to pull my shoulder blades towards each other behind me while I'm pulling my thumbs together, and just come down until I feel a stretch, and then I'm going to push out of it. The pushing out of it would be the concentric, so the shortening phase. I'm not so concerned about that. I mean, somewhat, but I want that stretch, so I'm going to focus on the lowering phase. So again, pulling the thumbs together, lowering down until I feel the stretch, and then pushing out of it. You can do this at a wall, just leaning into the wall as well. In fact, I have some people in class that say they actually feel the stretch much better. Absolutely try to not to have your shoulders rotate forward. We want to keep the shoulders down away from the head, just like any push-up. You maybe notice that I've got my elbows coming slightly behind me. That's just something that probably a little better for your shoulders. If you want to take this into a more of a strength exercise or get a little bit more out of it, come up into the full plank, pull the thumbs towards each other, shoulder blades pull together as you lower down, and you can come out of this the same way, or if you don't want so much of a workout, you can get that stretch and then just drop your knees and push yourself back up again. So we'll do one more. Ooh. And then we will move on to rear delt. A little bit of rhomboid action in this one too. So this is kind of like a reverse fly. We're going to do one side at a time. So I'm going to bring my arm up 90 degree, bend in the elbow. I'm going to open out to the side. I'm going to use my other arm underneath the elbow. As my elbow is pushing back, my elbow and wrist, I'm going to pull it across the body with my other arm until I feel a little bit of a stretch. And we'll probably only do about 4 or 5 a side for this one. Oh, it does feel super good. And then we'll switch sides. So elbows pushing back. I'm going to take the other arm, pull it across the body. So if I were to let go of my hand, my arm would snap out like that. So pull it across. You really want to relax the shoulder blades so that the shoulders aren't creeping up toward the head. And just like that stretch, we're going to do a trap stretch. I have said before when you're doing the medial hamstring stretch on your back, you're kind of getting the same stretch. So a lot of times in class, I'll skip it because as you're doing the medial hamstring stretch where you've got your leg like this and you are bringing that arm across the body. So you can either do it that way or sit on a chair, or I'm just sitting like this. I'm going to bring my arm up into a Y position, and I'm going to push it back. The other arm is going to push it down, bring it across the body. And we'll do that a few more times. If you want to add a little head tilt in at the end, that's really nice. And believe me, you don't have to go as far as I'm going either direction. It doesn't have to come all the way up. Just work within your range of motion. Again, if anything hurts, stop doing it. And then we'll do the other side. So I'm bringing my arm up, Y pattern, and then I'm going to bring it, just pull it down. As the arm's going up, I'm pulling it down the opposite direction. I'm also like tractioning a little bit, so I'm kind of letting my, I'm not just relaxing my shoulder, but I'm actually trying to kind of reach out as I'm doing this. And my other arm can help me. And then the head tilt at the end. And you can actually go up with the same contraction for more strength. And you should be feeling that back here, right? Here's another one of my favorites. This is actually a pec minor stretch. I know I'm going to get questions about that, but it is. It's also of anterior delt as well. So I'm in this sort of reverse tabletop position, and your hands can go any direction you want. I have my fingertips pointed forward. You can have them out to the side. You can have them behind me. I typically don't do it this way because my elbows hyperextend. So for me, the safest option is this, but do it whichever way you please. And then I'm going to puff my chest out and pull my shoulder blades together behind me. That's as far as you need to go. If you want to take this a step further, lift your hips. Oh, and I'm feeling this not only in my anterior delt, but also my bicep. For those of you who really want to take this a step even further, you're going to imagine your fingertips pulling toward your feet. So we've got the shoulder blades pulling together and down in the back, chest puffed out, lift, pull the fingertips toward the heels. The heels are going to feel like they're pulling toward the fingertips and lift. And you can shift. Again, work within your range of motion. This may be as far as you can go. That's fine. And then we're going to do a lat stretch. This is probably my favorite lat stretch. On hands and knees. I am going to take my left hand and put it over in front of my right hand. I'm going to push down into the mat, push down, and pull the hips away from that point. So I'm going to always push down with my left hand into the mat. Come right back up. If you want more out of this, round your back, push the hand into the mat, pull it back, and tilt the shoulder toward the mat. Oh, that's a good stretch. And I just did some TRX pull-ups yesterday, so I'm definitely feeling this. Feels really nice. Rear delt as well, I'm getting. And then switch sides. So hands and knees, right hand comes in front of left, push down into the mat. I'm going to round my back like a cat stretch just to get a little bit more out of it. So push down and pull back. You may be tight for the first couple. that's fine. Just work within your range of motion. Just always remember, we're moving and resisting, always pushing the right hand into the mat. Cat stretch for more, and then you can take that shoulder toward the mat a little bit too. And this one more stretch. This is something that you'll see in yoga, where you've got one arm behind your back and the other arm up and over, and you're supposed to clasp your hands behind your back. You don't have to clasp your hands behind the back for this one. You could use a towel if that makes you feel better, or a strap in between your hands. So I've got my left arm rotated, fingers up. I'm going to bring it up and back and try to touch my shoulders. Relax the shoulders. I'm going to tilt my head over to the right, the ear toward the shoulder. Your head is actually the weight, the resistance. And that is a stretch for your levator scapula, especially if you tilt the head forward just a bit. It's a really nice stretch. This is a muscle that, obviously, we don't stretch a whole lot. It's not an easy muscle to stretch at all. And then switch sides. So the other arm behind the back. This arm goes up, palm up, straight back. Tilt the head toward the left. I'm already feeling that stretch in the side of the neck. And then if you want to rotate it forward a little bit, you'll get more into that levator scapula. Trap, levator, scapula, both. And then we're going to move to the wall. So find yourself a doorway or a corner in your house if you have something that you can use, but you can also just use a doorway. So I'll see you in just a few minutes at the doorway. Here we are at the corner of a wall or a doorway, your choice. This is going to be the balancing stretch to the L, we call it the L closer. I'm going to put my elbow and my palm against the corner or doorway. I'm going to be kind of moving forward so that my arm's directly out to the side, or you could start here. And I'm going to push my elbow and my hand into the wall and step forward with my right foot, pivot away, and that is our stretch. So I'm just kind of pivoting on my toes to get this stretch. Now, there's more. This one, if you add a little, we call it a gooseneck sometimes, to your hand, you can get a little bit more external rotation. So I'm going to take my hand and make a gooseneck with it. I'm going to put my elbow and my fingertips are just on the wall. I'm going to press and move through that stretch again. You'll find it's a little bit different, a little bit deeper. And then I'm going to do the other side. To do the other side, I'm going to turn away from you. So, elbow and palm. Maybe this is better because you can see more of what I'm doing. I'm pushing into the wall. I'm going to push into the wall, turn away, step forward with my left foot. And also notice which side is tighter. This side for me has always been my problem arm since I am left-handed, favor my left arm. So I'm feeling a huge stretch here. I'm just pivoting away, pressing, stepping forward with my left foot. That's the stretch. Now, we're going to do the gooseneck, fingertips. See if we can get more stretch that way. and then we're going to move on. So this is a pec minor stretch. This one's definitely, I'm not going to have any questions. People know it's a pec minor stretch, unlike the tabletop, reverse tabletop. This one's one of my favorites, and we're going to get into some tendonitis stuff here for the elbow as well, so it's great. I'm going to put my arm in the Y position. I'm kind of back up a little bit. I'm going to press my palm into the wall and then step forward with my right leg. Work within your range of motion. This one can get tight, for sure. And the nice thing is if you have a doorway, you can do both arms at the same time. So that's definitely a plus of the doorway. And then we're going to talk about rotational patterns. So sometimes I do this one as sort of just an isometric held stretch, but it's nice to move in and out. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with my hand. This is on the other side of the door. I'm going to turn my palm up and bring my fingertips back toward my forearm, like that, like I'm carrying a serving tray. Got it? So I'm going to just put the pinky side of my fingers on the wall and pull my fingertips back toward my forearm and step through. And I'm feeling this all the way through the inside of my forearm, into my wrist, into my fingertips, actually. So this is the golfer elbow problem that some people have, can be addressed. And then I'm going to turn the palm around. So I'm going to turn my palm upside down. I'm putting the back of my hand against the wall. I'm going to make a fist and pull the fist back toward me. So I've got that going on. I'm going to step through, and this is your tennis elbow. You could also do this stretch with the arm down a little bit lower. Try it both ways. And when I turn around, you'll be able to see this a little bit better. So I'm going to turn around. Y pattern, Y position. I'm pushing my palm into the corner here at the wall. And I'm going to step through with my left foot, just moving back and forth. Not a whole lot of range of motion here. You know, we're working through a small range of motion, but that's okay. That's the thing about the arms, is that we have to use other objects or our other arm to stretch them. It's not as easy as stretching the legs, I don't think. And then we'll do the rotational patterns. So the first one, palm up, pull the fingertips back toward the forearm, push, and step through. Huge difference here. And then for the tennis elbow, I'm going to turn my hand upside down, make a fist, pull the fist back toward the forearm, push the wrist into the wall, and step forward. And another thing that you can do for tennis elbow, if you have a tennis elbow, I feel like you get to a certain age, we all have tennis elbow, right? Is sometimes I just like to grab the tissue here in the forearm and hold it down and then turn my thumb up and down. You can get some instant relief there if you want to try that. Just kind of like that bony structure right there. Turn up. You've got a bunch of big muscle here. You're just going to put some pressure on it. Turn up. and down, up and down. So I hope that helps you. Leave any questions or comments, like, subscribe, and next video we're going to be talking about the piriformis muscle due to request. So happy stretching. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.